Hello, my name is Paul Greenwood and this is my first ever video, so I hope you will enjoy it. At the bottom of this video there should be a link for free advertising for any site that you would like. Now I'm going to say a short story, and my short story is called In the Courtyard. It is in a couple of parts, so I will do just short videos for now, just to see how things go. In the courtyard, the sun was baking it like a heat trap. Pebbles on the ground were burning my feet, which were held in by leather sandals. This did not stop my feet from sweating, or from the burning sensation from the leather itself. Next to me is my friend. He also is finding the heat strong. My headband is wet with sweat, and it is dripping into my eyes, making them sore. I am used to the heat and the effects of it, and feel droplets rolling down my long nose and dripping to the end to be caught by my loose apparel. Everything is loosely fitting, my jacket and my trousers. They were white at one time, now they are a grey colour. Over my left shoulder to my right waist is a blanket type garment, which heavily stained and sandy in colour. My right shoulder is my cartridge belt, down to my left waist. Holding both is my tight leather belt. My trusty long knife also hangs from this belt, as also my gun cleaning kit. Talking of a gun, this I'm holding in my right hand, my trusty AK-47. Looking around the courtyard, which is very barren and dusty, there are others like me standing in a group. Most are dressed the same, some slightly different, some with more soiled clothing. To the outside of the courtyard, types of low houses surround it. In one of these I can see my parents sitting drinking tea. Other parents are with them as well for this joyful occasion. In another of the houses a meeting is going on to define our fate. The leaders of our group and area dignitaries are in attendance. I know one room off from the courtyard is guarded by trusted men of the dignitaries. This room is called the sanctuary. This is where you pray before you go on your missions. Those in the group with me hope they will be picked, as it makes the family proud of you and you will be remembered forever. As the sun beats down, making us move around, we take a drink of water from the well. This is the only movement we make. We do not talk, just grunt at one another. I look down at the sandy floor and see a scorpion appear from a stone which I had dislodged from its resting place. I kicked it towards my friend. He then kicked it on until the whole group were playing football with this involuntary dangerous creature, until one missed his kick. Squashed the creature. We all laughed at the poor creature's demise. After this little bit of idle fun, we continued our earlier activities. My feelings are quite strong. We seem to be losing the war. Our enemies are quite strong, having lots of firepower, but are weak to our attacks. Putting roadside bombs around that weaken their morale. Our religion states that we are able to go to heaven and enjoy a dozen maidens or more for our pleasure forever. This, and that our family will be honoured through time. Death seems just a step nearer. Immortality, especially when we take a few of our enemies and unbelievers when we go. I cannot wait until the meeting is over. Then I'll know whether I have been chosen for the next attack. I will then be allowed into the sanctuary where I can pray and be with my God. I'll feel good when I get to the pearly gates, enter into heaven and watch my enemies unbelievers turn away and go down to hell. We heard that our enemies are afraid of our sneak mortar attacks. As soon as they explode we disperse and cannot be found. Our uniform makes it very easy for us to mingle with unbelievers and makes us hard to spot. The meeting seems now to be coming to an end. We will soon know our fate. With the sun now slowly moving away from its summit, the heat has started to become bearable. Shadows from the buildings seem to be coming towards us, searching for the soldiers of fortune, soldiers that will send enemies to their deaths, unbelievers sent to hell, soldiers who will bring fear and hatred that will end the war, so the enemies will return home ashamed and humiliated. Well, our leader has appeared, so the meeting has ended. We all walk towards him. No word needs to be spoken. No respect for our leader is felt by our silence. Behind our leader follows the dignitaries with our religious teacher walking with them. As we meet, we come to some semblance of order. Our leader orders us to follow him. In silence, we all walk casually to where the meeting was taking place. Our leader is a fine, strong man, not too tall. He has led us since after the invasion of our enemy. Like us, he was a civilian with no military training. Now we are forced together to send our enemy home. He lost all of his family due to the enemy's bombing and has hated them since. All through our missions he has shown cunning, also heroism, especially when one of us has been wounded. This is why we respect him. He is always in the thick of things, always at the front. Our God must love him, as he has never been injured or scratched in any of our missions. As we enter the house, we are ushered into seats by one of the dignitaries' guards. The head of a dignitary stands in the middle at the front. When our leader joins him, in silence we stand. He motions us to be seated, then introduces the dignitary to us all. In silence we listen. The war is not going well. Our enemy has sent in more troops. Though we have done more attacks, we are losing more soldiers. Our enemies seem to be losing fewer soldiers than we are. Also, they have recruited more and more unbelievers than before. So it seems now that desperate methods must be introduced to lessen the unbelievers' influence in the war. Now we know the reason for the meeting. Our leader now addresses the meeting, informing us as what is expected of us. We have all been selected for this special mission, including our leader. Now, as the meeting comes to a close, we all stand and shout out our allegiance to our leader and faith in our God. We all leave the house and move to where our parents are congregating. As we near to where our parents are sitting, we see them stand in awe to us. There are looks of concern and love in their eyes. My parents are looking at me, and I can feel their love and expectations flowing over me. As I get closer to them, my mother holds my arm and kisses me. I hear the words, "Bless you, my son." I turn to my father, who has been wounded while fighting our enemies. He limps as he took one in his thigh, also lost a forearm to a grenade. Knowing now that he is losing a son, you cannot see in his expressionless face any signs of regret. I look into his eyes, and there, for a moment, I see a tear, which disappears amongst his rugged features quicker than it appeared. He mumbles, "You take care, my son. Do what you have to do." Looking at my mother, I see she's just holding herself together. It was pleasing to be called away by our leader. My feelings were all awash whilst I was in the presence of my parents. Everything of our life together was passing over me. The time my sister was imprisoned by the leader of our country, just by having Western attitudes. She was lucky, got raped and released. He told her that it was her fault, so was able to change. A lot of people were not so lucky. Like my uncle, he was arrested and never seen again. At least we were at peace, though sanctions and war made it quite hard to live properly. It was this, the sanctions, that makes us so against our enemies. Also that they make us feel like second-class citizens as we live to our beliefs. We have nothing, just a simple house with simple furniture. So when the enemy came and everything was upside down, we had to send them back, just so that we can look forward to peace again and enjoy our religion. This is why we fight so forcibly. End of part 1.